June 6, 1944, the Allies punch through the Atlantic Wall, but getting boots on the sand is only the first step. The moment the beaches are secured, the conflict shifts from a tactical assault into a relentless grinding logistical war. The Allied advance relies on a massive mechanized force. Thousands of Sherman tanks, transport trucks, and jeeps require millions of gallons of fuel to survive. If the gas tanks run dry, the advance stalls, giving German forces time to regroup and counterattack. Relying on a traditional fleet of surface oil tankers is an enormous risk. Slow-moving, highly explosive ships trying to cross the English Channel are easy targets for U-boat Wolfpacks and Luftwaffe patrols, not to mention unpredictable, violent storms. Even if the tankers make it across, the Normandy beachheads are already choked with incoming men, ammunition, and rations. There is simply no physical space to offload bulk fuel and move it inland fast enough to keep up with the front lines. The solution proposed by Allied planners is staggeringly ambitious. They plan to pump gasoline directly from storage tanks in southern England, across the English Channel, straight to the advancing units in France, using a continuous underwater pipeline. This means manufacturing and laying up to 70 miles of pipeline across a turbulent, debris-filled seabed, and it has to be done entirely under the cover of darkness to avoid alerting Axis intelligence. They call it Operation PLUTO, pipeline under the ocean. It is an engineering gamble born of sheer desperation, requiring technologies that do not yet exist to keep the Western Front moving. The first attempt leans on a proven technology, the submarine telegraph cable. Engineers at Siemens Brothers and the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company design a system called the HACE pipeline. They start by replacing the standard copper communication core with a seamless 3-inch extruded lead tube. To protect it from the ocean floor, they wrap the lead in asphalt-impregnated paper, layers of steel tape, jute fiber padding, and an outer armor of 57 galvanized steel wires. The resulting cable is incredibly durable. It can contain internal pressures of up to 1,500 pounds per square inch, delivering roughly 100,000 gallons of fuel a day. Best of all, it's flexible enough to be spooled into the hold of a standard cable-laying ship. But the Hayes design hits a fatal resource wall. The pipeline requires massive quantities of lead, a material that is desperately needed by the military to manufacture ammunition. The supply chain cannot support the demand, forcing engineers to find another way. The second iteration is the HAMEL pipeline. Instead of relying on precious lead, the team pivots to cheap, abundant, low-carbon mild steel. At purpose-built factories in Tilbury, workers take standard 40-foot lengths of this 3-inch steel tubing and flash weld them together. They machine the joints completely smooth, creating continuous, unbroken pipe runs stretching up to 4,000 feet. While steel solves the material shortage, it creates a severe logistical nightmare. Unlike the flexible lead cable, a thick steel pipe is incredibly rigid. There is absolutely no way to coil these massive lengths down into the belly of a traditional cable-laying vessel. To deploy the steel lines, the engineers have to rethink the delivery mechanism entirely. If the pipe cannot be loaded into a ship, the spool itself has to become the ship. This is HMS Conundrum. It is a colossal floating spool explicitly designed to roll the rigid HAMEL pipe directly across the English Channel. The scale is staggering. Each drum is 90 feet long and 40 feet in diameter. Using a motorized sprocket chain drive, engineers wind up to 70 miles of steel pipe around the barrel. Fully loaded, a single Conundrum displaces 1,600 tons. To power the system, engineers install massive industrial triple-ram pumps along the English coast. To protect this critical infrastructure from German air raids, they camouflage the pumping stations, hiding them in plain sight inside fake seaside villas, amusement parks, and ice cream parlors. Through ruthless iteration, From a modified telegraph cable, to a solid steel pipeline, to a floating leviathan, the Allies engineer a way to drag a fuel conduit across the ocean floor. The system relies on two primary routes. The Bambi Line stretches from the Isle of Wight to the French port of Cherbourg, while the shorter Dumbo Line connects Dungeness to Boulogne. The deployment isn't flawless. The early Bambi lines to Cherbourg suffer seabed damage and underperform, requiring repairs and adjustments. But as the Allied armies secure the ports and the process is refined, the system stabilizes. This chart shows the daily volume of petroleum successfully delivered through the pipeline network. By early 1945, the Dover Straits lines, supported by the massive Conundrum-laid steel pipes, are achieving flow rates exceeding 4,500 long tons of fuel per day. By the war's end, Operation Pluto successfully delivers over 172 million gallons of fuel to the continent, completely bypassing the hazards of the surface fleet. That continuous, hidden flow of gasoline directly sustains the Allied mechanized units, keeping their tanks and supply trucks driving forward until they reach the Rhine. Operation Pluto stands as a masterclass in problem solving. It proves that when brilliant engineering is squeezed by extreme constraints, the impossible simply becomes a matter of logistics.